Is 8:01 on a Thursday morning. Rise and shine. Good morning to you. I'm Wesh 2 First Warning Meteorologist Eric Burris, and this is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather, and it is a busy morning in the weather department because we are tracking a lot of cloud cover, a lot of rainfall, and even more rainfall in the forecast. And it's not even just that. Look over my shoulder here. When you see some of these traffic times in red, that lets you know that things are getting slow. Megan Mackey has been busy. We'll bother her in just a little bit to check and see, good morning, what's going on the roads. But first, this is a live look at our Tower Cam network. This is New Smyrna Beach, looking across the Ponce Inlet, looking towards South Daytona and Daytona Beach shores. It is cloudy. It is gusty. The surf is up, and it is just raining cats and dogs from time to time. Let me take you over to Daytona Beach. Check in on our tower cam there. I just showed this one on the air a couple of minutes ago, and you see those raindrops starting on the lens yet again. It's another wave of rain coming on in here. Meanwhile, that said, let's head inland just a little bit. Let's see what's doing in downtown. It's a little hazy, but at least it's bright. And one last shot. Let's head to Ocala and see what's doing here. We have seen a few sprinkles in Ocala. It has definitely been drier, but there's more rains that are on the way. So let's get right over to our first warning live Doppler radar. And I want to start here in Daytona Beach, see what's doing. That ribbon of very heavy rainfall. Daytona Beach, Port Orange, for example, seeing that pouring rain, and it continues in toward the north side of DeLand. So Stetson up toward DeLeon Springs, and it continues over to Forest Hills, Paisley, and some of this is even working over into Marion County. That said, further to the south into Volusia, watching the heavy rain. New Smyrna Beach, Oak Hill, Edgewater. This will work out toward Osteen, Maytown Road, Samsula. And notice some of these showers are even sneaking into Seminole County, North Brevard, watching some showers by you, Titusville, Mims. Is that for you, I assume? Oh, it was for me.
There's weather on camera.
Got it. Thank you. Watching more. The desk letting us know that there's weather happening outside. Okay, Satellite Beach, a little bit of rain. Some heavier stuff coming in around Melbourne Beach or points to the south. Melbourne Beach, Malabar, there's Turtle Bay Place. So you get the idea. We're watching rains around. And it's going to be this way on again and off again. And not just through today, but through the next couple of days too. For today, 9 a.m., 77. What is it right now? It's like 73-ish. 82 degrees by noon, 85 degrees our high temperature, with a building to 60% coverage of rainfall. So yes, Debbie says it's breezy and rainy in New Smyrna Beach since 5 a.m. I have to show you something. Yes, it's breezy and yes, it's rainy, but I was actually surprised. Let me go back over to our live radar here. Okay. And what I want to do is, instead of looking at the live radar sweep, okay, what I want to do instead is look at 6-hour rainfall totals. This is actually what, like, these, some of these numbers are actually remarkable. So this is the Doppler radar's best guess at how much rain has fallen. 2, 3, almost 4 inches of rain, 5. There was one area I saw in here that was nearly 7 inches of rain. So um, there has been a significant rain event, and this is just the start of it. Take a look at the flooding threat the next couple of days. For Central Florida, we're looking at a level 1 out of 4 risk for flooding. So we're watching the potential. Thus far, I have not seen any kind of flood advisories posted. Matt Gillespie says drought buster. It definitely could be, because remember, it's those coastal spots that are the most in need of rainfall. So we're definitely getting it. And I also want you to notice on the 7-day forecast here, look how the rain chances go up. Today, a 60% coverage of rain. Tomorrow, a 70% coverage of rain. And by Saturday, well, Saturday's an 80% coverage of rainfall, which I know is probably not ideal for any of us, clearly, right? None of us want to deal with a weekend of rain, but we don't exactly get to pick it. So it is what it is. Don't forget your umbrellas. Thank you. Linda says, absolutely. Yeah, I even put it, it's kind of funny because I put it in the what to wear forecast, which is like a little awkward because you're not wearing an umbrella. But it was like, well, this works. At least the mention of having an umbrella works. We definitely need to grab it. So I said, okay, comfy clothes, but you're going to need your umbrella. I don't know if that worked or not. Tammy says, looks like a good week to work. Oh, for sure. So let's do this. Let me dial up our Futurecast and kind of get an idea. Let me bring the computer a little closer because I need to also start putting my show together for the next hit. Okay, so this is Futurecast here, and I'm just gonna start us off this morning. Widespread rains, right? Like, yeah, gotcha. Thanks, Burris. You went to meteorology school to tell me it's raining. So through lunchtime, same idea. 1, 2 o'clock, still with the widespread showers. That's not expected to change much. 3, 4 o'clock, widespread showers. 5 o'clock, it starts to lift back to the north. Notice, like early afternoon, most of the energy seemingly wants to kind of feed south and then start lifting back to the north. Now, that said, I haven't done this on TV, but let's look at tomorrow, okay? So this is going to be 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. A few showers does not look as active, but notice by 8, 9, 10, we start really ramping up more onshore rains. That's going to continue into the afternoon, and it's just widespread rains through our Friday. And guess what? It's not like that's going to change looking ahead to Saturday. So if you've got plans to head, for example, heading to the UCF game, for example, it's going to be the clouds and the showers. Tailgating is going to there's my drink. Tailgating is going to include showers. The sunset, some showers. The good news is we're not looking at a significant lightning event. We're looking at more rain than anything. Rebecca says, so Highlands County can expect. So absolutely, particularly Glades, Hendry, Highlands. We're looking at a high coverage of rain these next couple of days. Now, how much rain could we actually be looking at? Well, let's start with the Futurecast model, and we're going to run Futurecast through, we'll say Saturday, right? Through late Friday. Notice Futurecast saying, particularly Brevard, East Orange, even East Osceola, that's where we could see 3 to 5 easy. Some ribbons, look at those reds. Some ribbons could see a foot of rain isolated. Now that wouldn't exactly be the greatest scenario, but the model's showing that. So at least keep that in the mention. Most of us are going to get half of an inch, 1, 2 inches, that sort of thing. But a foot of rain. Now we've already seen, according to Doppler radar, like 7 inches of rain in some spots this morning. So there's that. I wanted to point that out. Now, that said, let's switch over. Let's look at the GFS and the European models, and let's roll through about the same time frame. Okay. Notice the GFS saying widespread Orlando East 3 to 5. I actually agree with that. I think that that's an easy push with 5 to 8 easy along the coastline. I think that that's easy. I mean, think about it. Just this morning and last night, we saw 6, 7 inches of rain in parts of Brevard. So I definitely lean more into the GFS model with this. So based on that, then let's take the GFS and let's roll it even further through time together. Okay. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Like it's easy through next week. Notice the vast majority of Central Florida through the next week could get 3 to 5 inches of rain. So that I think is an easy push. I think that's an easy push, which is great. So what's going on? Why are we talking about such a wet pattern? Well, here we are developing this area of low pressure. We had talked about this. Let me do this, do this. We had talked about this yesterday on Coffee Talk, and even just the last couple of days. Um, that there was in the wake of Imelda, there was going to be this little area of low pressure that was going to try to form Bahamas or South Florida. And as it does so, it moistens us back up. And as a matter of fact, gets us even stormier, even wetter than what Imelda brought to us. That's the thing I was telling you about. It's along an old frontal boundary. And because it tightens the pressure gradient, because it's an onshore wind, because of its positioning, not only do we stay breezy, but we keep the rough surf and rip currents with us. We also end up keeping these onshore downpours. So basically, that's the area of low pressure that's doing this. And then if you extrapolate it through the next couple of days, it crosses the peninsula and keeps us wet all the way through Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Now, I would add that it is this area that has actually gotten the attention of the National Hurricane Center. Watching on the satellite, and again, there's nothing here for now. It's not like it's terribly organized, nothing like that. But the National Hurricane Center highlighted this, as having a low end 10% chance of forming over the next 2 days' time and over the next 7 days' time. I don't suspect that it's going to get its act together. I wouldn't say that I'm concerned in the slightest bit, but it is at least worth mentioning that tropically, the Hurricane Center has highlighted this and is something to watch. For you and I, it's going to be a bunch of rain, and that's what it's going to be for the peninsula. Now, after my next big weather, we'll look at the computer model data and we'll see what's going on with that, and we'll review the rest of the tropics. But I did want to mention that's at least something that the National Hurricane Center has highlighted as being something to watch. Okay, so again, it's not something that we're overly concerned with, but I just wanted to mention it. Betty, good morning to you. Is this part of the pattern for next hurricane season? So it is October 2nd. We're transitioning into the new pattern, writing everything down. Jeremy sent me, I don't have my phone, my phone's over there. Jeremy sent me a picture. He's got his weather calendar out. And so he and I are starting our deep logging of the weather calendar. So we're starting the logging for the next year's hurricane forecast for sure. Let's see, need to do that. Show a heavy downpour coming in around Florida Beach, Melbourne Beach. We'll put that into. I'm just building my next big weather hit. Okay, perfect. Okay, now I can hang with you guys for a couple of minutes until I have to go do the coffee talk or the CW18 hit. I'm doing the coffee talk. I'm good at multitasking. I'm just not great, right? Isn't that the way that goes? It's raining so hard here in Daytona, I can barely see the road. Well, I'll tell you what you shouldn't be doing is messaging on Coffee Talk if you're driving. Please, please. I don't need Megan Mackey reporting on you. Please, please, please be safe. Please. Unless you're doing it at a stoplight. If that's the case, then I suppose I can allow it. But I just want you all to be safe. Can we do that? So much rain in Daytona Beach today. Yes, it is. Ensembles are lighting up in the main development region area of interest. What's your thoughts? We'll look at it. We'll look at it. I'm just not going to have time at the moment to do that. 3-shot at the disco. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk over. I need to get the pod over here at the chroma key at the green screen. I need to get this. Okay, Nicole says I'm at a stoplight. Very good. Thank you. I just want your safety, please. Please and thank you. All right. So I have to come over here and I have to move the keyboard because this is what I put the computer down on when I do the weather. Debbie's asking, what about rain for St. Augustine this weekend? It's going to rain. It's going to be a wet one. Absolutely. Field trip. Oh, yeah. Yep, it's a field trip. Oh, there's Daytona. Oh,
This is I-4.
All right. You talk us through it.
It's cold.
Oh, hi. Okay.
Like right
Yeah.
there. In Volusia County, like that stretch of I-4 where it meets the 92 and
Yes.
a 95 split. Yeah, there's a couple crashes there, and you can barely even see.
Right.
Usually this camera's very clear, but because of all the rain and stuff.
Well, we've seen a couple of people have commented, even I can barely see driving in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, that's what it looks like right now. And then
Wow.
this is the second one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a mess out
The
there.
roads are so slick. Man, oh man.
And it's just kind of it's coming waves this morning. I mean, Daytona has had that significant amount, but I mean, even near the theme parks, there was it looks obviously a lot better now.
Oh yeah.
But there was a lot of rain there too. But this crash is still working clear from earlier.
Well, there's going to be more rain that'll move into the theme parks later. I mean, look at the radar right. The radar's quiet there now, but in a little bit of time, that's going to change. So.
Yeah, so not a good start.
Not a good start, but just advice to people would just be don't drive crazily.
And even I was driving in this morning. I mean, I take I-4.
Yeah.
I feel you kind of know that because we were off I-4. But
right.
I was even driving and there was so much water on the road.
Yeah.
I was kind of slipping.
Oh, geez, yeah, right.
There's no one around. We happened super early.
So far, so good in terms of massive. I mean, knock on wood.
Yeah, there's not anything massive.
But there are accidents. So.
But I feel people drive carefuler when there's rain.
Right.
So it's when people aren't thinking about it.
Yeah, they let their guard down.
Things happen. So.
Aye. All right. Please don't become a statistic. Drive with care, people. We have a pretty rainbow the whole way from Deltona to DeBerry a few minutes ago. That's nice. Say hi.
Hi,
Coffee Talk.
We're doing the things here
Good
today.
morning.
Yeah, put this.
Happy Thursday.
Put this. We get Jason in there.
We just had the cruise ship, a Royal Caribbean ship arrive in Miami, and they're dealing with norovirus.
norovirus.
That's what this story is about. 100 people with it.
Everybody.
Thank you. All right, this father and son say they do have more cruises planned right now, 2 of them. And officials say this is the 3rd outbreak of a gastrointestinal illness on a Royal Caribbean ship just this year.
8:17 now. Look at this if you can. Blue Origin says this is the next crew flying for New Shepard's 36th mission. There's also a 6th crew member, but that person wanted to stay anonymous until after the flight. Jason's been doing some digging on who it could possibly be. This mission is the 15th human flight for the New Shepard program. Blue Origin says it plans to announce the official flight date soon.
So maybe a celebrity, maybe a high value person, somebody with big money, maybe even an investor in Blue Origin, or, somebody tied to politics. So, it's a safety issue, not releasing their info.
I'm just, this is not Blue Origin, this is SpaceX for me.
Right.
Yes.
I'm a little shocked that Elon hasn't gone up on his own rocket. And just in having this conversation.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, because Jeff Bezos and his brother went on.
They went, right. Like, all I'm saying, if I was him and I owned a rocket company, I'd be like, okay, we're good. I'm wanting to go.
Oh,
but that's just me. I'm also not smart enough to own a rocket company. So maybe there's a breakdown here.
Well, you are smart enough to give us the forecast, and you do it so accurately.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right now,
Thank
we've
you.
got a lot of rain we're tracking.
Yes, and this is exactly the weather pattern we had been illustrating for a week or more's time.
Smart enough.
I mean, it's not rocket science. All I'm saying, it is what it is. So an area of low pressure is developing over South Florida and the Bahamas these next couple of days. And as it does so, it's going to be bringing with it a whole lot of moisture. So as Imelda left us, this is actually going to be an even wetter pattern for us. And because it's an area of low pressure, that also means that we will stay breezy across central Florida. This low crosses over the Gulf and moves into the Panhandle, and we just stay in this kind of wet pattern. So for many events, such as the UCF football game on Saturday, it's going to be kind of wet from time to time. You're going to want to have your poncho and all that fun stuff. We're not looking at a ton of lightning, which is the good news. So hopefully we won't have any kind of a game delay, but nevertheless, rain is in the forecast. Look at Daytona Beach right now. It's just been like this. We were chatting on the social channels on Coffee Talk, and folks are saying, can barely see ahead of us. I mean, that's how bad it is. And Megan Mackey has been tracking problems on the roads. We'll get over to our traffic expert here in just a couple of moments' time. Temperatures out the door in the 70s, but look at our live radar. We get that very clear idea of how much rain, and not just that, notice it's all been falling in this very same spot. So now we're talking about ponding, we're talking about concerns of flooding for Port Orange, for South Daytona, for Daytona Beach shores. And as a matter of fact, we look at the half-inch to 2 inches of rainfall in this area here, and that's going to continue for the next few moments' time. The metro is quiet, but we look over to Brevard, and there's a pocket of rain from Melbourne Beach to Malabar working in the next couple of moments' time. So the 12-hour forecast then shows a 50 to 60% coverage of rain through the early afternoon, and then little by little, that rain opportunity will drop off into this evening. Highest coverage of rain, though, east and south. Basically, if you live up like along Gainesville's corridor, it'll be a bit drier. But watch Futurecast just keeping us wet all the way through the day, hit or miss rains. And it's not just today. 7-day forecast showing rain chances actually go up tomorrow and go up even more looking ahead to our Saturday and Sunday. Megan, good morning.
Good morning, Eric. This is a live look at I-4 traveling in Volusia County this morning.
It's the phone is silent. I knew as soon as I looked at the comments, I knew you guys were. I've got to call into of course, this is a very important call. So the second that I wrap up Coffee Talk, I'm going to need to take this call. I've been working with my son's pediatrician. There's stuff. So I need to, that's a very important call I'm going to need to take. Yes, I am left-handed. Yeah. All right, let's do this. Let's dial up the computer models and let's get right to it. All right, GFS model. Let's see what you're doing. All right, there's that area of low pressure, that little area of low pressure over South Florida, right? Yep, little area of low pressure developing. Nothing strong, but it's showing up. Saturday, right? Sunday, kind of coming off the Big Bend, and then going right into the Panhandle by Sunday afternoon. So it's not that it's doing much, but it's something to watch, right? All right, continuing through, looking something out around the Windward Islands, developing north of Puerto Rico. Look at that, riding right up, and then pivot out to sea. I like to see that pivot. Let's hope that we can continue that. And then right at the very end, something around the Turks and the Caicos. All right, so that's the GFS. Let's look at the European model. We'll re-rack this, head over to the Euro, and notice that area of low pressure trying to develop and work into the Gulf. Nothing significant there, doing its thing. Looking out, look how around the Bahamas here, that's going to be Wednesday, October 8th. The Euro has something. The GFS does not. Interesting. All right, let's go back. One run on the Euro, still something there. And then what are you doing? Euro's got almost like a Fujiwara, weak, sloppy, just messy. The Euro's going unorganized, but very, very wet late. All right, let's switch over. Let's look at some ensembles. Check out the GFS ensemble. Rolling through time. Starting to see some ensemble members perhaps trying to do something in the Caribbean. And then look out to the right side there. Development, absolutely. Some Hornets even around us. Yeah, it looks like mid-October, October 10th on, there's going to be a window for some development. Ensembles are just showing stuff. Don't really know where it's going to go, but the GFS ensemble is showing stuff. Let's head over to the European ensemble. A couple of the Euro members wanting to develop this thing this weekend. I don't suspect that that's going to happen. And then after that, around October 10th on, the ensemble members are going with different clusters. There's one cluster that keeps something out east of us. There's one cluster that does a Gulf deal. So there's definitely some mention of stuff that's around. Joy says, go call the doctor back. Yeah, I'm definitely going to wrap up Coffee Talk here in the next couple of moments' time. So that said, 7-day forecast, rising those rain chances, 60, 70, 80% coverage of rain Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So it is going to be getting wetter and wetter. And speaking of wet, look at our coastal 7-day forecast, 80 to 90% coverage of rain. It's going to be even wetter for our coastline. All right. Doctor called. I'm going to go call him back. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you for hanging out for Coffee Talk. I will see you all on the air through 10 a.m. on CW18, and then we'll be doing our Coffee Talk tomorrow morning at 8. I'll post a reel as well.